Tahaad Pettiford. Oh my goodness gracious.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What a freaking massive win for the Auburn Tigers. Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby. Thank you so much for making us your first or second, it's our third show that we've done today. Darrell Dapprich, Montgomery radio legend, hanging out with us. Auburn has an incredible second half led by Tahaad Pettiford. There were moments that Keyshawn Hall stepped up, moments where Keyshawn Murphy stepped up. But oh my goodness, an 11-point win for the Auburn Tigers that seemed lifeless going into halftime, Darrell. But Tahaad Pettiford said, no, we are not going home from Vegas with just one win. We are not going to lose to the two ranked teams that we played. That second half was unbelievable, Darrell.
Very, very important win, because not only is it that you win, that you come out of this tournament feeling really good about yourself because you go 2-1 and be a ranked St. John's team. Zac, why this was so important was the timeliness of it and how they won, okay? Number one, could they bounce back? Could they get punched in the mouth and show the resiliency? Yes. Not only from night to night, but get ready, half to half.
Yes.
See, when things started going south in the first half and Auburn blew that lead and got down 9 after how they played last night, it would have been – this team showed me a lot of what they're made of by coming – now, and did it without one of their key players coming off the bench who was injured in Philip Jovic. They were undermanned. They had Keyshawn Murphy in foul trouble. They were down 9. They were coming off getting absolutely abused last night, and yet they found a way to absolutely come up big. Pettiford, Hall, it was just so many different – but listen, bottom line, Pettiford put this team on his back. Now, Hall had some shots to come out of halftime that got it to 4 that I think ended up being very big. There's not enough adjectives to describe how important this win was for Auburn. And not just that they won, how they did it and what they showed. Down a big man, down 9 at halftime, coming off what happened last night. They showed me something tonight, Zac, with mental toughness. And good for Stephen Pearl.
It changes the narrative about everything.
Changes the narrative.
People were ganging up on Stephen Pearl. Auburn fans were saying, "Oh my goodness!" But now it's like, what are you going to say? What are you going to say? Auburn outscored St. John's by 20 in the second half.
And that's not a scrub team. That's a team that had just beat Baylor last night, like Baylor stole something from them, ranked 14th in the country. If you would have told me, hey, let's come out of this tournament 2-1 and beat a ranked team on the way out the door, you take it. Especially when you play the Globetrotters last night.
I don't think Michigan should have, they shouldn't beat us by 30. But if you wanted to say Michigan was the best team in college basketball right now with what they're doing Gonzaga right now, look, okay, yeah. Now, how they beat us, I don't love, but regardless, it's like it does make it a little bit better. I mean, we talked about this a little bit with football, right? Like when we got embarrassed and we felt like we should have won against Oklahoma, we're like, okay, if we beat Texas A&M, that doesn't feel as bad, right? We can explain some of it. I think this has a similar feel, Darrell. All of a sudden, you beat St. John's, the 14th ranked team in college basketball, and you just storm back, pun intended there. You storm back in a way. And I love it that different guys stepped up in different moments too. Like Tahaad Pettiford's the headline, and he should be. He was unbelievable. Has he had a 27-point game at Auburn before?
I don't think so. And you make a great point. Hall got us back in it. Pettiford put it away.
Somebody, Jackson in the chat says 36 combined points in the second half by Pettiford and Hall.
And that, I mean, and that's – but and look, again, what could have been the difference? Do they get down 9 if they're able to bring Jovic off the bench when Murphy got in foul trouble, right? I don't want to play the what if game, but I think you made a really, really, great point in if Auburn plays like this last night, Michigan probably still wins, but it's closer. It's closer. Auburn has a more respectable performance.
Yeah. And then the Keyshawn Murphy 3 is really what felt like, okay, I think we just won the game.
Right.
The
Absolutely.
dagger.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Yeah. Auburn shot 55% from the floor. They shot 43% from 3 free throws, which has been a weakness for this team. 84%, made 21 of 25 free throw attempts in a game that we kind of felt like the officiating was kind of lopsided as far as when St. John's got and ones and when Auburn didn't get those opportunities, but thankfully it didn't matter.
Incredible absolutely. Again, I can't overstate the way they did it. I mean, and again, to beat them double digits, not just come back late and win at the buzzer or, have to hang on late. I mean, they put the foot on the throat and came away late and pulled away.
What a great second half. Like, goodness gracious. There was a switch in Tahaad's brain, and you could tell where he was like, hey, I'm going to win this game for us. I'm going to will this to happen. And that's something that we've talked about a ton with Tahaad. I mean, slow start to the season for Tahaad Pettiford. And now it's like, okay, great. His trip out here to Vegas was vintage Tahaad.
Well, you could see this coming a mile away. And we talked about it. It was one of the easiest predictions to make, is that he plays so big in these moments. And bright lights of Vegas on the Strip, he comes out and just, I don't know what he ended up averaging. I think he ended up averaging 18, 19 a game when it's all said and done, but just played big. I mean, needed him against Oregon. And he, the game that he played against Oregon directly attributed to the win. And then, of course, tonight, no brainer.
Yeah. Incredible. Absolutely incredible stuff. Let us know who your player of the game was in the chat. I got a feeling it's going to be a lot of number 0, which is okay. That and more coming up right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5. And if your first $5 bet hits, you get $300 in bonus bets to use throughout the app. The Iron Bowl, 5.5-point line. If you feel like Auburn is going to win on Saturday, pound the Auburn money line, or at least take Auburn plus 5.5 if you think it's going to be closer than that. So head over to FanDuel.com, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Game Time's the best place to buy tickets. It doesn't matter if it's for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy shows, the theater. It doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what it is, Darrell, but it's the best place to buy tickets. And you can do it super easy, super quick, most cost-effective option today. Download the Game Time app. Use promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go to download the Game Time app today. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Yep, obviously it's a consensus to Tahaad Pettiford, player of the game, Darrell.
Absolutely. No doubt, no brainer. Kickstart type performance, getting him out here in this tournament. People kept wondering what's wrong with Tahaad. Is he distributing? Is he trying to be too much of a distributor? This is the kind of thing that will just get him going. I mean, there's more big games down the stretch. The North Carolina State game is an SEC, ACC challenge. Then you go out to Tucson and play. I mean, there's Purdue. There's a lot of big games where I think he'll show out because that's what he's built for.
Yeah. What do you think the big picture balance will be for Tahaad and Keyshawn Hall? Is it gonna kind of go? Is it gonna ebb back and forth, or is it gonna eventually be more Tahaad than Keyshawn Hall, or do you think big picture will be more Keyshawn Hall than Tahaad Pettiford?
I think it's going to go back and forth. I think it's going to depend on style, flow, who you're playing. If a team's got a really good guy, a really good guard that's an off-ball guard and says, okay, I'm going to use you to shut down Tahaad, and they move Keyshawn out to the wing, and that on-ball defender is really, really good at the top of the key, then it's going to be Hall. If it's somebody that overplays and matches up and shades to key, then it'll be Tahaad going down the lane. That's why, Zach, the most important thing that can happen from now until the SEC tournament for Auburn is to find that third scorer, the third dude. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Jovic, who seemed like he was coming on? Is it going to be Freeman, who's got potential but has to show up in big games?
It was Overton tonight.
Is it going to be Overton? Yeah. So somebody, and I don't mind if it's somebody different every night. You know, it doesn't have to be that dude, but is it Overton one night? Is it Jovic one night? Is it Murphy one night? Is it Freeman? That's what needs to happen is night in, night out, there has to be a third dude. Because at some point, a really good coach and a really good defensive team will be able to take away both Hall and Pettiford at the same time. So get that third guy.
Steven beating one of the most well-known coaches in college basketball the night after getting whooped by far his biggest loss. And probably he might be the biggest loss they have all year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be awesome. That's
such an underrated point that I didn't even think about when we talked about before we hit record. When you are a new coach and you're a first-year coach, we talked about it in the Barncast Live about how, from a referee standpoint, you're going to lean towards Rick Pitino, who's the veteran legend coach, as opposed to the newbie Stephen Pearl in the way of how you call the game. You're going to defer. It's just the way it is. It's human nature. For Stephen Pearl to get his first win over a ranked team against a legendary coach who's won a national title is pretty awesome. He did not look I'm just going to say it. He outcoached Pitino in the second half.
Second half wasn't close.
Second half, outcoached him. And
now he's got the dudes, right? Like him having Tahaad.
But St. John's, that dude for St. John's couldn't miss either. I mean, it wasn't like they're scrubs. So yeah, that is going to be so big for Pearl and his confidence as a coach and this team. This team goes into Wednesday night's game against North Carolina State with a completely different mindset because of this game. Remember how I said, Zach, don't let Michigan's loss be a 2-loss loss. Got to find a better way to say that. But what this did is a more than one win-win. It propels you. If you get in a game against a good team and you're down at halftime, you have something to draw from. And winning is, we know this more than any other fan base when it comes to football. Winning is a habit. Right. You got to learn how to win, right? Auburn hasn't been able to do that on the football side and close games. From a basketball standpoint tonight, man, can they draw from this? This was an absolutely great learning experience.
It's huge. A lot of people in the chat asking why Jovic didn't play. Wrist injury. I'm unfamiliar with the severity of it. I can't imagine it's crazy severe, but he did not play tonight. So we'll see what happens moving forward. All right. So the last few times we've done this, we've had to add the caveat of we don't know who one of these teams that Auburn's going to be playing is when you look at the next 5, but we will be able to list the next 5 teams that Auburn plays now, which is nice. NC State at home, go to Arizona. They played Chattanooga in Atlanta. They play Purdue in Indianapolis, and then they host Queens University the end of December in Auburn. That's a 9:00 tip. Disgusting. Gross.
In Auburn, yeah, that's going to be fun. I'm going to drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah, drink a lot of something for sure. Auburn stretch there. I mean, obviously you feel good about Chattanooga and Queens. So then it's like, okay, can Auburn win 1 or 2 of NC State, Arizona, and Purdue?
I think so. I mean, I think North Carolina State at home, after the way Auburn played tonight on a neutral floor against a better St. John's team than North Carolina State, I got them going 3-2. And only because Purdue and Arizona are number 2 and 3 in the country. I mean, come on. I mean, think about it. That's just – if you were playing a team that was in the low teens or the 20s – and you're playing in Tucson and in Indianapolis, which is not Purdue's home floor. Lafayette, Indiana is, but still it's like Auburn playing in Birmingham.
Right. Yeah. Arizona's great. Purdue's
Arizona
really
in
good.
Tucson is very, very – McHale Center is very comparable to the Jungle as far as a home court advantage.
So there's a lot of folks saying that Purdue is overrated in the chat, and that's fine. I still think the matchup is an issue. They're still good. If you want to say they're not great, that's fine. I think the way they play and their size is that is our issue. And so they cannot be as good as their ranking in your mind or whatever. I'm not going to push back on that. But I think it is a matchup with us that will be a problem.
I will say this, Arizona is very similar in style and in athletes than Auburn. They're like looking in the mirror. They got a really good freshman. Everybody knows Jaden Bradley. He played at Alabama. He's one of but their style is a lot more conducive to Auburn than Purdue's is.
Yeah, so I think Arizona's better than Purdue, but I think we have a better chance of beating Arizona than Purdue.
Correct. I agree. I agree. Yep.
There we go.
And boy, do I hope. Oh man, that would be great. Yes.
Yeah, you'll be out there.
Glorious. Yes, that will be.
You'll be out there. That'll be fun. Yeah, we'll be doing this from Tucson, which is super fun, super cool. I mean, the second half, like I just wasn't expecting it, Darrell. I'm going to be honest. I was not expecting that to happen.
That's what makes this win all the more sweeter and more important is it just didn't seem likely at halftime, right? And so when something like this happens and it's unexpected, it hits harder. It hits harder. And the way it happened and the run and the things that Auburn did that you've been kind of dying for them to you know, again, I can't overemphasize. It's not just sometimes that you win, it's when you win and how you win. And this was a combination of both.
We didn't want to sit in this for a week. We didn't want to sit in like back-to-back losses for a week. We don't play again until Wednesday.
Zach, remember last night when we were talking and it was a tough show to do? And I said, this is one of those rare times where you are so glad you're playing back-to-back so that you can get right back out there and get that nasty taste out of your mouth.
And that first half happens, and like Auburn's shooting really well, but they're like still down by 9. They were shooting like 10% better than St. John's, and it's just like, oh no, what's going on? And then it felt like we lost it. It felt like we were losing control, and then they just come back. But like you had to think, like, man, the fan base is going to be upset, rightfully so. Like, I mean, 2 good teams, but it doesn't matter. Like we're used to beating elite teams on the basketball court.
Yes,
and Steven was going to get all this stuff, whether it's deserved or not. Tahaad, all these players, like they were about to just have to sit in it. And thank God we don't have to do that.
Well, it was a godsend that Auburn got to play tonight, and it was I mean, look, so you look at these 3 games, and you say, what game did Auburn play the best in? And you'd have to say the totality. The first 10 minutes of this game and the last 10 minutes was about as good as Auburn's played in a long time. So you would have to say it's this game. Well, Zach, think about that. They played their best basketball on the back end of the 3rd game, where most teams without depth, without 2 guys. Bashir gives you minutes. I don't think Walker got in the game. So what did he use? An 8-man rotation tonight? I mean, you're using an 8-man rotation on the 3rd game of a back-to-back-to-back, and that's the game that you play the best in against the 2nd best opponent that you saw. That speaks volumes for what they can do. In my opinion, when you get into the tough ins and outs of an SEC schedule.
Yep.
That's just a really big – I mean, I don't want to – you know.
Where are we ranked next, do you think?
Well, that is another great point. Going 2-1 in this tournament and playing Oregon, Michigan, and St. John's may move Auburn in the top 20.
I saw somebody comment that we moved from 34 to 25 in KenPom.
Okay. I say we're going to be 19th. I think Auburn moves up 2 spots. Now, if Michigan wins this tournament, you may see them move to 8. It's just how they lost to Michigan. If Auburn just
if we lose by 8 to Michigan,
you're moving up 3 or 4 spots, maybe 5. Yeah,
right.
But I say 19. I say they sneak into the top.
You think
20.
it's a net positive? You still think we move up?
I do.
Yeah, I won't push back on that. I think it's gonna be close. Up 1 or 2 spots would stay the same. Yep. How fun! What a fun way to go into Thanksgiving.
Oh, it's a really fun night to go into Thanksgiving this way, and it's a lot of basketball, and it's 3 in a row, but this is why it's so much fun to do these shows when a game like this, and it is a whole mindset. This team goes back to Auburn tomorrow, celebrates Thanksgiving, gets 5-6 days off with a completely different mindset. Completely different, healthy mindset with NC State coming into Neville Wednesday night, and that place should be absolutely rocking.
Yep, absolutely. Darrell Dapprich, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
Follow me on X, Dap6410, and then obviously the next show I'll do with you, my friend, is the post-game Iron Bowl show.
That's right. Well, you'll be on the pod Friday morning. We've just already recorded.
Oh yeah,
Friday.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So we'll have shows tomorrow morning. Locked On Bama's Jimmy Stein joins me tomorrow morning. The squad show for the SEC is going up tomorrow afternoon still, and then Darrell and I are back Friday morning on Locked On Auburn. So just because it's the holidays, we will still be putting out content.
Speaking of holidays, I do want to take a moment to tell everybody that's on right now that comes faithfully, religiously, watches our programs, regular shows, comes on this live. I wish we could give them a nickname for this group because they're so diligent. Thank you. On Thanksgiving, everyone, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving. And I am truly thankful for you guys and for you, Zach. Really appreciate doing this.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you to every single one of you. And because a lot of you would have shown up even if we lost too, right? We're all in this together through thick and thin for sure. And of course, I'm thankful for you, Dap. Love you a long time. So please like the video, please subscribe. We will see you guys next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.